Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. This is the post-game show. The Miami Heat just defeated the Portland Trailblazers 119-98 in Portland. The Miami Heat have now beat the Portland Trailblazers 5 straight in Portland. And so big victory for the Miami Heat. Miami Heat were missing Jimmy Butler. He was out for his 5th game. He has a 7-game suspension, as we all know. And the Miami Heat are now 3-2 during this time frame. One of the losses was a terrible loss to the Utah Jazz. They lost by 36 points at home. I think this was the first game that Jimmy Butler was out for, and they got their revenge a few days ago. They beat the Utah Jazz in a close game in a 90s style battle. They scored only 97 points, only won by 5, so that was a tough win, but a win's a win, especially when you don't have your best player right now, and we're obviously leveraging our youth movement now, so we're relying on Jovic and Claire and Jaime Jaquez now. So that was a good win. And then the Miami Heat also lost a tough game, which I was at in Sacramento. The Heat were up by 17 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, blew that lead, and lost in double overtime. First overtime, the Heat were up by like 5 with like a minute or so left. And Jaime Jaquez had a chance to put the Heat up by 3 with like 3 seconds left or 4 seconds left, missed both free throws. They ended up tying it, and then DeMar DeRozan killed us. But anyway, the Miami Heat have now won 3 games in a row. They ended up winning against Golden State Warriors, the game I was at as well, the Jazz, and then now tonight against Portland. So the Miami Heat are now 20-17. So they are 3 games above 500 for the third time this season. And double checking, yes, the Miami Heat are now the 6th seed after winning tonight. They just leapfrogged the Pacers, who are ahead of them tonight. So big win, 3-game win streak for the Heat without Jimmy Butler, very important. And this is good, obviously positive traction for this young Miami Heat team playing without Jimmy Butler and with playing with the distraction of not having Jimmy Butler, because every day there's new articles and new videos and new people coming up talking about the Jimmy Butler situation. You know, Jimmy Butler trolling Pat Riley at his coffee shop, and then you have Tim Hardaway Senior, former Miami Heat point guard, talking crap on Jimmy Butler as well today. So there's a lot of noise. So this was a good victory. The Miami Heat, had a good game today, especially from Tyler Herro and Jovic. We'll get into that. But either way, this game was a little close in the first half. So the Miami Heat were up by 6 after the first quarter, and they played a solid first quarter. They were actually down in that first quarter by a little bit, but they were losing the rebounding battle. They were only shooting 29% from 3. They had 3 turnovers in that first quarter alone. So they had some struggles in that first quarter, but they turned it around and ended up going into the second quarter with a 6-point lead. Second quarter, they opened the door up, or hitting threes. They were playing really well on the defensive end. They're taking care of the ball finally, and they ended up winning that second quarter 37-25. They're up by 18 at halftime, so they were in control. And then the Trailblazers came back in that third quarter, and I think the closest they got was like 7 points, perhaps, until the fourth quarter where the Miami Heat dominated. But the Trailblazers did come back. They scored 35 points to the Miami Heat's 28. Anthony Simons was on fire in that quarter. He played really well. He ended up hitting like 4 or 5 threes up until that point. I think he had a few in the fourth quarter as well. He was 7 for 14 from 3. So he was the leading scorer for the Portland Trailblazers. Him and Shaedon Sharpe were playing really well. Shaedon Sharpe wasn't as efficient towards the end of the game, but those were the two that were playing the best for Portland, bringing the Portland Trailblazers back into the game. And again, the Trailblazers are a bigger team than the Miami Heat, even with Ayton out and Jeremy Grant out. And Robert Williams, I don't even know if he's even played much this season. Maurice Thybulle was out too, so they had a lot of missing guys. So the Miami Heat were expected to win. I mean, the Portland Trailblazers have 13 wins. They're a terrible team, obviously. So, but rebounding is something they won. And Miami, when they lose the rebounding battle, they usually lose. So this was a good sign. They lost the rebounding battle 51-43 tonight, yet they were still able to win because of their 3-point shooting. The Miami Heat shot 19 for 44, so that's 43%. The Blazers shot only 13 for 45, which is 29%, but turnovers were key. So after having 3 in the first quarter, they only had 7 for the rest of the game. So the Heat had 10 turnovers. to the Portland Trailblazers 16. Free throw line, the Miami Heat shot 75%. They need to clean that up a little bit, but they shot 48% from the field as a team, which is solid. But let's get into the players though for sure. So Tyler Hero led the Miami Heat, and he was showing Joe Cronin what a mistake he's made, obviously, because the Dame package balled out tonight. Jaime Jaquez had a quiet night, but still, pretty good night for Jaime Jaquez, as he's been trending upwards since he's been starting with Jimmy Butler out for these 5 games. But Tyler Hero killed it in 32 minutes at 32 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 11 for 22 from the field. You love that, 50%. 7 for 14 from 3. Love that because he was off to a slow start in that first quarter. He missed like 6 shots in that first quarter, but he was being aggressive and he was trying really hard defensively. So that's all you can ask for. He was 3 for 4 from the line and only 1 turnover. The other player that played really well off the bench specifically was Nico. So Jovic crushed it today. He's had 5 consecutive games with double-digit points. He hasn't done that ever in his career. I think 4 was the most. So he's stacking up double-digit points, and that's huge coming off the bench. And he's starting to play more minutes now and averaging more minutes, and played 32 minutes off the bench tonight, and he was sensational. 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 for 12 from the field, which was great. 4 for 7 from 3, 1 for 1 from the line, 1 block, 1 steal, only 1 turnover. So great assist to turnover ratio. Nico has looked very comfortable hitting the 3, getting to the paint. He didn't really post up and hunt for mismatches as much tonight, but he's looking good, man. He's scoring inside and out, which is great. He needs to work on his mid-range game, but his passing was great, his rebounding was great, and he was really consistent and efficient, which is what we need. Another player I want to highlight is Haywood Highsmith. Played great tonight. 4 for 5 from 3. He's our highest 3-point shooter on this team right now. In terms of percentage, he was 5 for 8 from the field, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists for Haywood, which is great. So he was playmaking, 5 steals, 0 turnovers. So he was doing everything. He was hitting those wide open threes. He was playing defense, and he was sensational. Bam Adebayo, you know, quiet in a sense, only shot 13 field goal attempts, which was, I guess, second most behind Tyler Hero, but 13 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. He was 1 for 2 from 3. I didn't even see that 3. He had 1 steal. So solid game from Bam, putting up those Draymond type numbers. And who else played well? That's pretty much it. I mean, Terry Rozier was okay. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 for 9 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. He's been shooting like crap from 3. He had 4 turnovers, though, out of the Miami Heat's 10, which is not good. But one great thing about Spo, he finally did not close with Terry Rozier. Thank you, freaking God, Spo, for opening your eyes for once and not allowing Terry to be out there. Haywood was closing out there with Tyler and Jaquez and Bam and was it Kalel? I don't know. I don't think Kalel was closing. Who else was out there? I can't remember. Speaking of Clelware, 16 minutes, not a lot of time, but 7 points, 4 rebounds. He was 3 for 6 from the field, 1 for 2 from the line. He had 2 blocks, no turnovers, so solid. I'll take that. Duncan had 8 off the bench, 2 for 5 from 3. Pele Larson got back into the rotation, only played 10 minutes, but didn't really do much. Had 2 points, 2 rebounds. He's been rusty. He took a charge, and he's doing the intangibles and the dirty work, as you would expect, as one of our plug and play guys. But either way, Miami Heat destroy the Portland Trailblazers, and this was a much needed victory. The Miami Heat are still going to be on this 6-game road trip. They have 2 more games in Los Angeles. If those games don't get postponed, we'll see. So hope everybody in LA is doing okay. And yeah, 3-game win streak for the Miami Heat. Let's hopefully disrupt the pattern where they go 3 games above 500, which they've done 3 times this season, and then they lose 3 in a row and get back to 500. So let's see if they can actually win and get to that 4 games above 500 mark for the first time. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.